Every time we are including poses that we are stimulating the spine, we want to allow some space for the spine to neutralize, which means coming back to its natural shape. Hi everybody, welcome back to this Yin Yoga for Beginners program. In today's class, I'm going to be guiding you in movements that incorporate the upper body. Usually in Yin Yoga, we practice poses that target mainly the hips, the legs, the spine. But if we incorporate the arms in one of the in some of these poses, we can also target these lines of energy, lines of this that contains water, fluids, energy that we have also in the arms and the shoulder and the chest. So today we're going to be doing that. So let's start. We're going to start in the back of the mat. I have my timer here. We're going to start in child pose. So find the back of your mat. We're going to have the knees together. I already have show you in different classes that you can practice child pose in different ways. Today we're going to have the knees together, so we're going to round the spine a little bit more. We're going to start coming forward, but for this child pose, I want to actively bring your arms to the front. So keep your elbows off the floor, so that will keep the arms more engaged in this pose. You don't have to lock the elbows, that's not the idea, but you can keep your arms straight in front of you, because as I said, today we're going to incorporate the arms in these classes that we do for the upper body. That is kind of like the key. Using the same asanas that we use to stimulate the lower joints, the lower body, by incorporating and using the arms as well. So we are doing that in a few classes that I have prepared for the upper body. A few more breaths, sinking into the pose, feeling maybe some activation around the shoulder area. We are going to be stressing the shoulders in a passive way. This is what we do in Yin. Good. So we're going to start coming out of child pose. We're going to stop for a bit just in tabletop to experience the rebound. In Yin, when we talk about rebound, we're talking about that group of sensations that we experience when we come out of the pose. Let me stop and restart the timer here, because we're going to now come all the way down on our belly. We're going to come to a pose that is called Sphinx Pose. So for this pose, you may want to have your elbows aligned with your shoulders, so a little bit forward. Whatever feels more comfortable for your shoulders. And we're going to try to have the hands together. So ideally is that you are gazing forward. You may want to find a spot on the floor so you can fix your eyes there and try to keep your body, your neck, your torso in stillness. But because I'm teaching you this class and I like to connect with you, I'm going to be looking at the camera when I speak. But you can only follow my voice. The legs. What happened with the legs in Sphinx? They are relaxed. Glutes are soft. So for some of you, that will mean that the heels are falling out or falling in, or they stay straight. That will depend on the orientation that your femur has inside of the socket of the hip joint. That was a lot of anatomical terms, but that is the explanation. So just allow your feet to move whatever they feel comfortable and natural to move, because you're keeping your muscles relaxed. Good. So 1 minute is gone in the Sphinx. We're going to make a pillow with your hands. So we're going to come to rest on your forehead just for a bit to neutralize the spine. Every time we are including poses that we are stimulating the spine,
We want to allow some space for the spine to neutralize, which means coming back to its natural shape. Good.
Now we're going to start moving our body back. We're going to go back to child pose. So move your body first into tabletop. This is kind of like the transition pose. Bring the knees together and coming down to child pose, keeping your arms in front. Remember, in this class, because we want to have the upper body engage in the movements that we're doing, the shapes that we're doing, we are practicing child pose with the arms in front. Allow the hips to sink down, whether they touch the heels or not. That's not our goal here. Is not we're aiming to have this aesthetic look. I want you to feel the stretch in the muscles of your back, and especially the stretch in the muscles of your arms by placing some compression in the shoulder joint. Good. A few more seconds in child pose. Now we're going to start coming again back into tabletop. We will stop in tabletop for a moment to observe what is happening, to observe any sensation. We're going to keep the hips on top of the knees. That is the idea. So in this next shape that we're going to go in this asana, we don't want the hips to move forward or back. We want to keep them aligned with the knees. So we're going to extend the right arm in front and we're going to bend the left elbow. This pose is called quarter dog, and you're going to rest your forehead on the forearm, your left forearm. And allow gravity to pull your chest down, your armpit down. No need to push, press, move. Just sink in with the pose. This is a more gentle and more accessible variation to Anahatasana or melting heart pose, when both arms are extended in front of you. Quarter dog is asymmetrical because one arm is doing one thing while the other arm is doing a different thing. And that makes the poses more accessible for majority of us. Good. We're going to start softly and gently coming back up into tabletop. Just for a minute. Move your hips back. We're not going to stay there for too long. So move your hips back into child pose. Keep your hands active in front of you. Just try to sink in the pose, surrendering to the pose. Good. You're going to come back up. Tabletop first. We're going to start moving the left hand as far forward as possible without bringing your hips with you. Keep the hips on top of the knee. Bend the right elbow. Place your forearm parallel to the short edge of the mat, and then allow your forehead to rest on your forearm. Feeling the sensation of the gravity pulling your armpit, your left armpit down, which is compressing the shoulder joint. And in my classes, you're going to hear those words, compression, stress, very often, because these are anatomical terms. There is absolutely nothing negative about compressing the joints. That is something that naturally we do all the time, is when the two bones come closer together and they stop each other. That's what happens at the joints.
And stress is the stimulus that we applied over the tissues. So nothing wrong, nothing negative when we talk about compression and stress. Good. We're gonna gently start moving the arm, the left arm, towards our body, finding ourselves in tabletop and coming to the last child pose of the class. In this one, you can actually let go of the arms. So you want to rest your arms and just rest your forehead on the mat. Now releasing the arms back so we can let go of that compression that we were doing in the shoulder joint. Now that you are getting more familiar with my style of teaching, you probably have noticed that I am all about anatomy. Those are the two things that I love the most: Yin Yoga and anatomy of movement. That's what I teach in my classes, in my practical classes. That's what I teach to my students who want to become yoga teachers. That's who I am. I've been doing this for many, many, many years, and this is my voice. This is what I like to teach. Good. So slowly start coming all the way up, shifting your weight to one side, finding yourself in a comfortable seated position. And with this, oh, nice. I feel this yin bliss. So remember, take it easy every time, even though it's a 10-minute class. Take it easy when you finish the class to go back to your daily activities. Drink water because we have been stimulating liquids inside of our body. And have a lovely, lovely rest of the day. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.